Bergen, ladies and gentlemen, Freeholder Board, Bruce Paterson. Garwood, let me just first start off with the question I've been asking, that I haven't got an answer, is why is the business administrator of Scotch Plains overseeing and controlling the county budget? I would assume tonight the public's actually going to get an answer as to why. To talk about the budget, and I went through the budget, and I guess I'll use pages. I don't know if you guys are going to flip to the page or anybody else, but on page 27, that's where it shows the surplus that everybody is crowing about. It's now 55 million, which you are reducing it, using 22 million. 2015, it was actually 31 million, so it increased approximately 25 million from last year. And if anything, this proves me right that last year I stood here and I said you guys are hiding a lot of operational costs from Runnels Hospital when you sold it to the tune of 15 to 25 million. Well, this is proving me out that all this money all of a sudden came out of the woodwork, and we're looking at it. So, you're saying you increased the surplus and everybody thank you for it. But no, what it was Hudak was the finance chair last year, and he didn't even catch that. And when I talked to him about it, and I talked to you guys, and I wrote letters to the towns, it just fell on deaf ears, and people were clueless, I guess. So, but anyway, it's out here, and you're reducing the budget. But one thing, just to tell you, they're asking to stay below 2%. Perfect. Maybe nobody really understands finances, but if you're leaving 33 million in surplus remaining, you could easily adjust that downward to offset the taxes. And when I say adjust it downward, a rule of thumb is about 5% contingency on your budget of 500 million, which is 25 million. You have 33 million left over, 25 million it should be. That's an 8 million decrease that you can actually use towards offsetting the tax increase of close to $10 million. Brings it down to $2 million, well below the 2%. And actually that would show at least care for the taxpayers. We're talking to council people, talking about people moving out because they're at the tipping point. So please, you still have time. You can adjust this and vote no on it. Another thing, page 3A and 30, that shows those pages show the county health benefit cost of $61 million. And then it shows the debt service of $63 million. You total those two up, that's $124 million. That's actually 25% of the budget. These are non-productive dollars that are actually coming out of the taxpayers' money and going nowhere to help the taxpayers. So, these two items you really should look at. 25% of the budget, healthcare and debt service. You should form a committee to analyze and maybe try to cut that back. I thought you went into JIF to save money. I guess not. On the appropriation page 16, it shows the health opt-out costs. And that's if two people are working and one has and both have insurance costs, health insurance. One opts out and gets paid $5,000 or $2,500, whichever the limit is. You have an opt-out cost of $1.8 million. And again, this is unproductive money. I noted this before. With Christie's plan, he was saying the employees have to pay a portion of their health care, which I'm sure you're making because I saw that in there for about $6 million. So you can eliminate the opt-out, and the people who are not taking the health care, if they want to take the health care, all of a sudden are looking at paying thousands towards that health care, and so you're going to be able to keep the opt-out in the budget, and they're not going to go because they don't want to spend the extra couple of $1,000s for health care that they're not going to use because they're already covered in health. So there's a savings for you right there. I mentioned that before. A good program that you're putting forth, of course, is the countywide shelter for the animals. I think that's a good idea. A couple of questions, hopefully somebody can answer. Page 20 on the appropriations, Division of Social Services on salaries and wages. There's an expenditure in 2015 of $30 million, and reserved is $4 million. This is 2016. Why is that's 13%. Why is there $4 million reserved on the expenditures of $30 million in 2015? This needs explanation. Another appropriation, page 29, is the debt, and the interest of notes on that one line item went from $585,000 last year to $2.6 million. Just roughing out, it looks like we were carrying $30 million last year. Now suddenly we're carrying $130 million. This really needs some explanation also, because I don't remember you guys churning up a lot of debt. Appropriation page 33, on the very bottom, the general appropriation shows 478 million with a reserve of 27.
Mr. Paterson, I have to call you to a close. Your 5 minutes is up. Thank you.
Please address the budget, vote no on it. There's major issues in there.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'll continue talking about it later on in the night. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you.
I'm sure you do.
Director Taylor, maybe you could try and address those last two questions, which seem to be substantive.
Through the Chairman, with regard to the note interest, we did provide and issued bonds last year in the amount of $135 million of amounts that were previously authorized, and so that was the interest that was due on those notes. With regard to social services, as you know, and as the board's policy, we try to hold all vacancies open for approximately 90 days unless those positions are absolutely necessary. That's one way that we try to also build surplus by keeping positions open in order to have those funds reserved. That reserved amount then lapses after 2 subsequent budget years. And so we did have several vacancies that the Director of Human Services was working actively with personnel to fill.
Thank you. Any other members of the public with questions or comments concerning these two resolutions? Seeing none, I will close that portion of the meeting, and I would ask that Fiscal Chairman Mirabella kindly move for adoption resolutions 2016-383 and 2016-384.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to move 2016-383 and 384.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Carter. Clerk, please call the roll.
Fielder Carter.
Yes.
Fielder Estrada. Yes. Fielder Hudak. Fielder Jolly. Aye. Fielder Kowalski.
Yes.
Fielder Mirabella.
Aye.
Fielder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman Perry.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you, Clerk.